Joining me now by phone, Matt Schlapp, the chairman and the CEO of CPAC. Matt, good timing just after our promotion for CPAC. You couldn't have timed this better, Matt.
John, that was amazing. I'm very bad at that. I need to hire you to be my pitch man.
I'm your spokesman, baby, because I love it. I bring the bus. Plus, I love working with your team. They're just great. Hannah Stone is the best, and the new person you got in there that I'm working with, AK, is great. So we got the bus coming. We're pumped. We're fired up. And this is going to be, especially with this big Texas primary, you're a visionary having this there. It's going to be fun.
Well, I wish I was so smart that I thought all these things through. A lot of CPAC's success is because I think we had a spine and some courage and some judgment over the last decade. We've made most of the big decisions squarely in the right place, but I will have to admit that I give a lot of credit to my creator, because some of this stuff, it gets confusing, and you don't know what the right thing to do is, and you use your what they call discernment. You try to figure out what the right decision is, and you make it. And so this Texas timing is perfect. It's right after, it'd be between the primary and the runoff. So we have this big primary. We have endorsed Aaron Wright in the AG's race, and we haven't endorsed Ken Paxton because he's running against a fine congressman as well who's in the race, who has almost 100% with us. But look, the fact is if I was in Texas, I'd be voting for Ken Paxton, and he's been the best attorney general in the country. And it is a huge lie to say that Ken Paxton makes the seat vulnerable, that he can't win it. Ken Paxton, they say every time he runs, he's going to lose, and he always wins, and he wins pretty handily. He's won in higher percentages than Ted Cruz. So don't listen to the establishment Republicans who tell you, you got to pick the more moderate candidate because then we can hold on to the seat. This is why we are having trouble with the SAVE Act, because we got too many Republicans in there that when we need them, they run away.
Listen, everything you've done is right, and I would agree with you on Paxton. He's going to win. He's going to get the base out. He's going to win bigger than Cornyn would win. So it's all nonsense. And look at Matt. This takes courage, right? To me, I would, if I was there, I would vote for Paxton 100%. Wouldn't bat an eye. I'd run to the polls. I'd vote early. I'd vote again in the runoff if it comes to that, because we need warriors and leaders. This is where CPAC this is how you've changed it from your predecessor. I think his name was Al Cardenas. Nice guy, right? No problem with, always a gentleman to me, so no problem there. But it was just a sleepy little thing that you had, you had the Rand Paul, this Paul, that Paul. I mean, it was all fine. It was all fine and good. You had Fox News there, whatever. But now you guys, CPAC is the intellectual spear, the tip of the spear of the MAGA movement. And you've taken it around the globe, and you take tough positions, and you've been on the right side of everything. You've understood the populist movement before anybody else within conservative leadership. I was the first one there because I'm a populist, so it was easy for me. But you were the first one there to do that, you and your wife, Mercedes, and you got a lot of criticism. You lost board members over it. Hey, you know what? Don't let the door hit you in the ass, okay? You're bigger and stronger today than ever, and you are the intellectual movement behind this, and that's why I think Dallas is going to be so much fun. And look, getting Ken Paxton, he's going to be the nominee. He's going to be going to the runoff. That place is going to be packed. I can't wait to go there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Texas is the center of the action. So you had all this redistricting fight. You're going to have this runoff after CPAC. And, people keep saying, yeah, but we got to focus on these purple areas. People got to remember this is a midterm. We got to get the base out. If the base gets out, this MAGA base, conservative base, if they turn out, we can hold on to Congress. If they feel like, you know what, Trump's not on the ballot, Trump's my man, I don't really need to vote for these other guys because they're just kind of also-rans. I don't think I need to vote in this midterm. The Democrats will win. It's kind of that simple, and Texas is the center of that storm. Florida's awfully important. So it's even in these red states, we got to really focus our political attention. So we are in the right place at the right time.
Listen, I think that's what this whole thing's about. And so again, this is I always say, this is the most important CPAC. This really is the most important CPAC, and I'm excited it's in Dallas. Like, I live in DC, so it's easy for me to get there. You just basically take Metro and then take the bus, and I'm there, right? So it's a little bit easier for me. I'm 15 minutes away. Casino is there. Life is good. But I love going to Dallas. And I just think that you got to get to the heart of the base. And that's what I think this CPAC is going to do. Our bus is going to be there. Thanks for letting it in. You put it right in the middle. People can sign it. We're fired up about that. Also want to give a shout out. I gave a shout out to Hannah Stone. She's the best. I don't know how you guys managed to get her on your team, but she's great to work with. But you got somebody new in there. I just want to give a shout out to. Her name is Allie McCone. And
yeah, she's great.
Matt, I'm telling you, whatever you do to keep her, she gets back to me. She follows up. She
good.
Got whole thing coordinated. I sent this is what I do. I sent Matt Schlapp one email. He sent me her name. Done. That's all I did. I said, "Do you approve what we're doing?" He says, "Yep." Call Allie. And gave me her email, and everything has been taken care of. It's great to work with a competent team. That's just, you guys are the best.
Well, John, I'm of a certain age, and I think you are too, where I work with a lot of young people. And I used to complain, and now I'm getting to the point where I realize, look, I just got to train these people. And one of the things that's really important to me is getting back to people. Now, I don't always do it within 24 hours. Sometimes if you're having a busy week, it can take a couple of days. But I love hearing that our team is being responsive, because this is one of the reasons why I think the Republican Party has suffered, and I think more kind of establishment organizations have suffered. They don't even call you back. And I'm a victim of this too. They don't even call you back. You're just not that important to them. And for CPAC, we've always tried to stay close to the people down there on the ground. And this is true. Mercy just came back from doing some events for Michael Whatley, who's running for Senate out in North Carolina, and she came back from Arizona speaking to some women's groups. And that's the best part of being a part of this MAGA conservative movement, is it's populated by these wonderful people from all kind of walks of life, all kind of socioeconomic levels. They got one thing in common: they're patriots. And then when we take CPAC overseas and we're in 12 countries, they're patriots in their own right, in their own countries, and they want freedom. And it's been an exciting thing to be a part of, and you all can be a part of it. I'm going to try to be a pitch man here. Please come join us in Dallas at the end of the month. Go to our website. If you have trouble with the website, just call our office. We'll get you signed up. I will tell you, ticket sales are really good. It's a lot easier to sell Dallas than Washington, D.C. That shouldn't be surprising.
Right. Well, I think you guys are going to have a tremendous event. And also want to give a shout out to Ajay. I think his name is AJ. He was one of our interns at the DC GOP, and you guys hired him, and he called me up. He was so excited. I mean, you guys are just doing the right things, getting a lot of young people involved. He's going to be super for your organization, Matt, as well. So thank you for that. And thank you for inviting me to be one of your speakers. I got your personal letter in the mail. Thank you for that. I accept the invitation. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good, because I didn't know if you were going to say yes. This is the first you've told me that you said yes, so this is good. You were on our, he might be too good for us list,
I accept your invitation. Let's get to my calls and text on the MAGA view of the invasion of Iran is running 100-0. I have yet to get one tractor. So I think that this thing, Tucker Carlson, et cetera, it's all nonsense. Candace Owens and whoever else is out there, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the clickbaiters. What is your view? How are you hearing from MAGA about this invasion in Iran, Matt Schlapp?
Well, let me just say, first of all, we've had a lot of the Iranian, or several prominent members of the Iranian dissident community on our stage over the years, because we thought there's one thing we could all agree on from a foreign policy perspective, is you don't want jihadist mullahs in charge of major countries that have the intent of destroying America. Like, if we can't agree on that, then I'm going to be a little bit confused, because Iran, since I'm a boy, Iran has been shouting "Death to America" and then backing that up with spending billions of dollars trying to destabilize America and kill Americans. And you can just go through X or go through whatever feed you like to go through and rekindle the last 50 years of Iran doing just the most heinous, barbarous things, including, pushing gays off buildings, stoning women, throwing acid in the face of women if they feel like they're not dressed modestly enough. I mean, just the most heinous acts, stoning people. Think about that, stoning. We haven't read about that since the Old Testament. But this is what goes on in Iran, that you can say, well, if that's inside their country, what do we care? So I could understand people saying we can't govern what's inside a country, but when they're so focused on our destruction and the number one funder of these terrorist acts, which could be akin to what just happened in Austin, but has happened in so many other places, I don't understand the philosophical conversation. And maybe what you're telling me, John, is MAGA doesn't either.
I mean, I think that, look, where we have given an outsized voice to clickbaiters. They might be speaking at your event. I have no problem with that. But I'm going to be equally as critical. We have given an outside voice to MAGA clickbaiters whose business model is based on generating revenue from downloads and clickbait. And so in order to do that, they take controversial positions, whether it's anti-Semitic, anti-Jew, anti-Israel, anti-this, anti-that. And Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, this is how they make their money. And they've been able to get an outside voice within the movement that then the fake news media plays up as if it is some division within our movement. I think it's nonsense. You got to understand how they make their money, where it comes from. If they were to do what I do, their revenue would dry up because I give truth and clarity. Nobody wants to buy that, okay? I mean, I have my advertisers. We're highly successful. But our company, our 26 radio stations that we run here, all of our social media, YouTube, everything else, it's based on getting traditional advertisers, not based on clickbait that is generated through controversy. That's the issue. They don't represent MAGA. They represent a tiny piece of it.
Can I jump in on there, John?
Yes.
So I don't know. People will see who we have speaking. We're making announcements every day, and they can see if we're feeding into the problem or feeding into the solution. So here's my view after watching all this, and some of these people who are out there, being highly successful are also people I have a good relationship with and are friends with. I guess I don't mind people figuring out their way to make money. I do that myself too, by the way. So do you. I think that's the American way to figure out a way to be successful. But what's the focus of our group? The focus of our group is freedom, patriotism, saving America. So our theme is actions, not just words. I really don't want to hear from the people who talk. I want to hear from the people who do. The Trump administration is doing amazing things in almost every sector, so we want to have a great representation from them. You have grassroots activists, including in Texas, who are pushing back against these kind of like Islamist cities with this, incredible building of radicalized mosques and such. You got grassroots activists that are fighting that. You got grassroots activists in Minneapolis and St. Paul that are exposing the fraud and trying to save their state, which is, been inundated. So I want to hear from these people that are doing things, including D.C. Republican conservative groups that are doing amazing things. I think of Mike Davis, who does amazing things. I think there's a lot of lawyers in D.C. who are pushing back against lawfare, who are doing amazing things. Those courageous people, that's who I want to focus on. I kind of want to move away from the people who are at the top of the food chain making the most money and talk about the people that are doing things. And I think if we do that, it'll unify us as well.
Not only that, it gets back to your generational CPAC roots. I mean, remember, CPAC was started Conservative Political Action Conference. Action. That's what it was started as, right? By M.
Yep.
Stanton Evans back in the day. The first one I went to was, I think it was 1975. I was 17 years old. I told you a story 100 times. I drove. Just gotten my license at 17 in New Jersey. I was still in, I think, high school because I was 17. So was able to talk my parents. Lived with my aunt and uncle at the time. Take a couple of days off. I went down there and stayed with my cousin in his dorm in College Park at the University of Maryland, as I had no money, and so that was the first one I went to. But it was all about action. It was all college students there and things of that nature. We heard from Senator Jimmy Buckley at the time from New York State, on the Conservative Party. Reagan was the big like Friday or Saturday night speaker as the first time I got to go. So, but it was all about action, and now you're getting back to your roots. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Not what are you saying? What are you doing? And I think that gets back to your original roots, Matt.
Yeah, that's a great point. I sometimes I forget the obvious, but action, and action doesn't just mean like being frenetic and hyper. Action is about like being smart and strategic. And I think that we're at this critical juncture where Trump wins. Everybody's kind of taking a breather, and maybe some people deserved a little bit of a breather. But hell, they took people's fortunes and put them in prison. So I get that. Some people just needed to kind of like recuperate, might be a better word. But now we have to all think through the fact that by the time we get to CPAC, we got 2+ years left of this thing, and after the midterm, less than 2 years. If you think about Donald Trump's potency, so we're right back into the frying pan. We're trying to figure out what do we do in a world where Donald Trump doesn't have immense political power, and I quite frankly am scared. I'm a little scared about it because there's no one quite like him. Really, there's no one like him. By the way, there might not be anybody like him. Too many people in history who have had political jobs, and certainly no one that I can see in America that's like him. So we're going to have to figure that out. And in the meantime, the Republican Party is this vehicle that we use to get things done because we're in a two-party country. It's a very dangerous thing. They could slip and go right back to what they were before, and that would be a disaster for our country. So for all the patriots out there listening, CPAC, it's fun. You'll feel rejuvenated. You get a little action camp. But beyond that, we're sending an incredibly important message to our enemies in America and around the world that we're a growing movement, that we're a vibrant movement, that we don't all agree with each other, but we're unified in our core purpose. So you're doing more than just showing up to a conference. You're making a public statement that we're not going to lose this country.
I mean, that's really what CPAC is to me now. It's you go there, the networking is phenomenal. You get inspired, but you get a lot of things that you can get involved with to make a difference, and I think that is where your organization is now. Coupled with what I said at the beginning, you guys are, as far as I'm concerned, the intellectual spear now behind the populist MAGA movement, and you were the one that did that. I mean, I was there when they turned the plane around, dude. I mean, I know what you went through, right? I was there front and center.
Yeah.
I know what you
do
did.
Remember that.
I know what you were up against with Trump and the criticism you got. It was withering, and you stood up to it, and so did your wife. And that's why I have such respect for you and Mercy, because you guys saw the future, and you were believers from day one, and you stood up to tremendous pressure at the time to move away from Trump's campaign in 2016 and the movement as a whole. So you've been there, and you've taken it internationally, and you've done amazing things with CPAC. And for those board members that left, sorry, you missed out on probably one of the greatest political movements in history. Not my problem. Board members you got now, better than ever.
Hey, John, you know what the best part when a board member leaves you or a friend disowns you, which I've had, that's the more troubling thing. People you knew for a quarter of a century, and then they say, I won't have anything to do with you because of Trump. What's ironic is because of the way things gone, almost all of them end up calling you saying, hey, I'm trying to get on this board, or, hey, do you think Trump would pick me for this job? And you're like, really? Are you kidding me? But there are little delicious moments.
Those are the ones that You have a drink and you just laugh your ass off. That's basically what you
Yes,
do.
you do.
That's what,
That's exactly
that's what
right.
I do, right? That's my method to everything. Matt, thank you for being with us. I'm going to have you on a regular basis now, right up through
Great.
this every single week, so we can get our sales up there. Thanks for inviting me to be a speaker. Thanks for inviting me to go, and we really look forward to seeing you and Mercedes there and all our CPAC friends again. This is CPAC 2026 in Dallas, March 25th through the 28th, largest gathering of conservatives in the country. And all you got to do to get tickets, go to cpac.org. That's cpac.org. And we'll see you in Dallas with the Trump bus. Come and sign it in Dallas, cpac.org. Matt, thanks for being with us. My best to your
Thanks, John.
lovely wife and all your daughters. And
Thank
we will
you.
see you soon.